Welcome everybody to another episode of the podcast. Today we have Mr. Shashwat Shailesh with us. Hi Shashwat, how are you?
I'm all good. You tell.
I'm good. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
So basically, my name is Shashwat Shailesh. I'm pursuing Bachelor's of Fashion Technology from NIFT Bangalore. This is the first semester. Like it started a week ago. So yeah, I'm a fashion student.
Okay, so Shashwat, I follow your Instagram and I see you're a lot into fashion. Also,
Yes.
so how long have you been in fashion?
Seriously, to be very honest, specifying a particular age or a year would be like too complicated for me. But as long as I can remember, I have seriously, initially, I enjoyed fashion. Now the whole life is, I guess, the job and everything is fashion only. So yeah, since birth, I guess.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it is a passion more or less, right?
Passion is just not that's the point. It's not just limited to passion. Now it is like something. Passion is something just you love to do or something you have that zest to do, but it is much more than that, like, actually.
Okay, so it's like you
Yeah,
define yourself with fashion.
kind of.
Okay, so the kind of fashion you do, I don't know exactly what it's called, but like for me, it's kind of alternative fashion because it's not stereotypical for like every man. Like what you do is something different. So can you tell us about what is that called, and what kind of things you do? Thoda sa
Actually, the
elaborate.
thing is, the thing is the kind of fashion that I prefer that I do is something I call it very experimental and something that I feel is something odd. Actually, the thing is when I go out for shopping or when I'm like out for anything that I have to buy something, I pick out those things basically which look a little different and stand out instead of being into the like not very common. Actually, I try to find out and pick out such things. So I guess it's experimental. So if I find an experimental, so I'll put my hand to it and wear it. Would love to wear it. Yeah.
So, what's the thought process behind it? It's is it like do you like wearing it? Like is it just your taste, or is it like you want to break the stereotypes around the men's fashion, or is it something else?
Actually, no. The thing is, like, to break the stereotype is not at all into my thought when I come to dressing or fashion or something. Eventually, it does that, but I don't have like the intention of it initially. But eventually, yeah, it does. Like, actually, I really like it because initially, from the very beginning, I had been into fashion. So after a period of time, it became boring to wear something which just looks good on you and which is acceptable or whatsoever. So I tried to experiment with the thing. So that's it. I like the intention is not to break the stereotype or something. Eventually it does, but the primarily focus is not that.
So, generally, when you wear something which is a stereotypical, because I've seen your shoots and everything. So it's sort of looks kind of on the more on the feminine side, which is like from the
Mhm.
societal standpoint, it is kind of most feminine. So did you face any flack from the society, or maybe people around you when you started doing it very passionately?
Actually, the thing is, it is something that I feel like the boundary that has been created, the limit of it till where you can wear or what you can wear is something that is something that literally hinders the thought process of that whether it is feminine or too masculine or not masculine, whatsoever it is. I feel like I really don't think so. This thought of, and to be very honest, as you said, the criticism or something, I really faced today as well. And like I have been facing for a long period of time. It really doesn't bother me, but the criticism is something that I really find. baseless and very illogical because of the fact, because who defines where's the limit of the masculinity or the femininity or of a cloth or of something which is related to fashion. It is something that I find very baseless, to be honest.
No, but the thing is that where do you think does it stem from? Because you're a person who's been in fashion, and from a societal standpoint, it's always been like there's this kind of spectrum, where things are masculine, and there's another where things are feminine, and which has been been in our society since very long. So whenever someone breaks that stereotype, why do you think it does trigger people?
It does because it is, as you said, like it is something that you're going against to their thoughts or like to their, like I feel like it is something they have never like, literally ponder over it, because otherwise they would have a reason behind it that why it is so. They don't think like that. It's just that they find someone who is doing something which they haven't seen before, and which makes it very unacceptable initially. And eventually, the thing is, when they see the people also reacting in the same way around, so they don't even try to think over it that why these certain things are the way they are. So, yeah, I think so. This is the thing.
Yeah, because it's basically known the basically the longer kind of stuff is generally accepted as more feminine, and something
Mm-hmm.
which is a little bit in short, like something like a t-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
or it's generally the masculine kind of stuff. So when you change that, it sort of surprises people, and sometimes you take it in a bad way or so, and even like you face that, right?
Yes.
And did it never affect you, or is it have you grown out of it? Because
Uh,
sometimes when people you do feel kind of bad when you don't get societal acceptance, because obviously we live in a society. So yeah.
ini- Initially, it was like that. I think is this, as like I said, fashion has been like since the very start. I feel like initially it was tough. It wasn't like actually it wasn't tough initially. It was something like I was, of course, from the very beginning, I wasn't the person who would be picking up clothes to wear or something. My mom used to buy it for me. But eventually, by class seventh or from class seven, so sorry, from class second or third, when I started picking out things that I really like and start wearing them. Initially, it was like people used to treat me like, "Arey, abhi bacha hai, abhi chota hai. It will have with time, it will change or something." And to be honest, I was not that mature enough to even take it as a hint. Okay, fine, now I'll be facing some struggles after this or whatsoever. But eventually, by the class of the fourth or fifth, I started facing them, and I felt literally bad, because actually the thing is, I'm being good at academics or something, which literally brought something, which literally brought like not just laurels but also made my parents proud, made me confident enough and acceptable in the society. I literally wanted that acceptance in the world of in the category of the arena of the fashion as well initially. But eventually I tried. I struggled. I still struggle, but now it doesn't at all bother me, because it has been quite a long journey and quite a long time now. It doesn't at all bother me, because I have like stopped seeking acceptance around me. Rather, I seek acceptance within me. That's it.
So even if it happened, if even it happens in school, right? So let me ask you,
Yes.
like, you're straight, right?
Yes.
So like it's more like it's more what was it? It's very small minded, for people, to say things like meetha and chakka. They
Yeah.
obviously use
Yeah.
that slang against you,
Mm,
even though
mm,
even everyone knows they're wrong, and uh,
mm.
it's homophobic, but they still do it, and it it may have felt bad in starting or so. uh, have you faced that in school? Because
Yes.
usually it's a
Obviously.
very stereotypical form of insult कि किसी को मीठा बोल दें, किसी को चक्का बोल दें. And with the kind of stuff that we discussed before, because societally that thing is feminine and everything like that, so sort of given you more a bit of attention regarding that. So does it did it happen?
The thing is, people seek attention. I don't want this kind of attention. No, of course, nobody wants this kind of attention. But yeah, being called like such words, and I feel like that. I feel so. Initially, I used to feel very terrible about it. How can you even say that? And I used to hold even grudges against them. But eventually, being a practical human being, I feel like I sat back and I thought about it, that why is it so? Why they call me so, whatsoever it is. I realized that it is their need and their thing to get accepted. If they won't, if they won't mock at me, or if they don't pull my leg with all of these things, I guess, or if they stand up for me, I feel like then they'll be also be considered of the same category or something whatsoever they have put me in. So I guess, and because that thing makes them feel safe about it, is I guess that's the only factor that is like making them like this and not speaking up or not speaking up against the wrong or something. And then to be very honest, today I don't hold any grudge against them, because I feel like okay, fine, it's their life, it's their choice.
And also people
So yeah,
grow out of that phase, because many of us
yes,
can be initially like that. We've been conditioned in the
hmm.
society in kind of an like that way, because we were never really told about the different genders as a society.
Yes, yes,
So people do grow after that. Also, अब तो ऐसे
yes.
भी लोग होंगे ना कि जो कि स्टार्टिंग में मजाक उड़ा रहे होंगे, but now that you're kind of a bit established in this field, though they would come up to
Yes.
you and like they'll appreciate you कि भाई ये तो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है, stuff like that.
There are people, there are such people, yeah. To be very honest, there are quite a number of people I have encountered within, like, I guess from the past a month or two, that people are, texting me. My old friends used to, just say it in a fun, and they're like be apologetic about it, and they're like, I'm seriously seeing you grow or something. And that's what literally makes me feel, that's the driving force I have today, because these small things, these are not small things, because you're changing the mindset of people who have been into a homophobic society since birth. I feel
Hmm.
like, so being in the homophobic society since birth, I feel like they are like that, and eventually when they have a change, the thought really brings me that content and that feeling of peace, that okay, fine, now there are people who are acknowledging certain things and making their own lives better. Because to be very honest, right now we are just 18 or 19 or 17 whatsoever, but we have a long life ahead. And to be very honest, at this point of time, if you're not capable of accepting certain things and being open to it, it will be a huge challenge for you as well. So it's great for them. It's good for them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even I feel so. Like if you're exposed to a lot of things in your early years, you learn to gain acceptance, and you'll also know that things are also happening. Because even in India, uh, things
Hmm.
like what you do is a bit of rarity, but in the outside world, like in other countries, it's like it's very common. And if you're
Yes. Yes.
surprised, and if you go somewhere like that and be surprised, everyone would be like, are you living under a rock? So
Yeah. Actually.
I guess like gaining more and more experience, as you grow up, is a very good thing. It prepares you for your future. So if we come back to fashion, so what is the best part about? Because when I see your Insta feeds and everything, I'm like, why, oh, how you shoot, how you dress. It is really what it is really good. I appreciate it. So what's the best part about it? What do you love the most?
Actually, the thing is, during this lockdown, I was thinking of doing something new, because it was too boring. I had a lot of plans, like between the end of my boards and the start of the college. So I had a lot of plans. They all eventually failed because of the lockdown. So I thought to do something, and eventually I landed on like getting photo shoots done, because being in front of the camera is something I really find very therapeutic, and I feel like it is something I really like doing it. So buying those essentials, initials, like, the spotlight, the camera, the ring light, etc., all of it, and then dressing up and getting played and started uploading them and getting good response also. So yeah, this all of it right now it is just something that I do it for fun. It is not something that I'm like looking at it very seriously, but yeah, it is something that I really like. So
And there are also things that you don't like about this process. Are there any?
yes, there are. Actually, the thing is, there is this confess out link on my bio. Actually, that's the most scary and the most like the scary part because you don't
No, no,
know
no.
who
I was
text
asking what the
what.
photo shoot things, the photo shoot thing. Is there anything that you don't like about that?
Actually setting up the setting up things, like you have to set up actually the light, the correct the angle and everything. It really takes a lot of time. uh, Actually the thing is, when you go through photos like of anyone else, you don't realize it, but when you actually have to do a particular photo shoot, actually I do my photo shoot on my own, so I have to set the camera and I have to get the Bluetooth, that's a kind of a switch kind of button, and then you have to do a lot of stuff, and eventually you have to even edit if the photos are not very good, or like if there are certain flaws in it, then you have to edit it. It was like quite a hectic thing to do also. It seems easy, but it is not at all,
Yeah,
because there are a lot
that
of
I
plus
can
at the end.
second. That I can second because even
Yeah.
I record videos and I edit them.
Yes.
So it is quite a lot of work, to kind of find the right
Yes.
kind of light, then the placement. कि पीछे कचरा अचरा तो नहीं आ रहा है सब कुछ मतलब
Yeah,
अच्छे से वो
exactly.
देखना पड़ता है. And when it does not turn out very well, then it's like, oh shit, अभी editing और मेहनत की.
Yeah, actually true.
ये तो I agree to. So tell me about your inspiration regarding doing this. Is there any
Inspiration as in person, or
person? There could be inspiration, could be anything. The situation could be an inspiration. Person could be.
I feel like inspiration for like the thing that I'm doing right now, this passion. I feel like the inspiration was initially, I guess the that was from my mother, I guess, because she's been into things of like making stuff out of like waste. Actually, from the very beginning, I used to see her collect things in certain like the pearls and the marbles or whatsoever and create something out of it.
Mhm.
And from the very beginning, I used to get very fascinated by seeing all of it. But yeah, initially it was like that, and right now I wouldn't say that there's a person as an inspiration, but I don't think so. There's like I don't know. The inspiration is I really don't think so. There's a particular human or situation as an inspiration for me at this point of time. But I really want to do good work. That's the thing.
So what are your future plans? Matlab, eventually, you'll get to college and everything, will be. So, do you plan to continue doing the shoots professionally?
I would love to. To be very honest, 2 months back, I wasn't even thinking of doing something like this. But there have been some, like some opportunities for modeling as well at this point of time. I really didn't think it before. Yeah, I'll be doing something like this, but I'll take it as it comes. And right now, I'm really liking it. I'm enjoying the process, so I'll continue it. And as far as future goals are concerned, eventually I want to be a designer, the fashion designer, the couture. So eventual goal is that only, but in between small things, like not small, but actually certain things I would love to get into and explore.
Okay. So, getting to the next part of this podcast, why don't you tell the audience your NIFT rank in 2020?
Actually, I have got like CMR six, sorry, CMR five this year. Actually, I gave the examination last year also. It wasn't that well, but this time, after a lot of like 2.5 years of hard work, it was really good. And so yeah, it was hard, but I really think that if you have that no, that passion for it eventually you're gonna crack it.
Okay.
And yeah,
So
hard work.
tell me this. You told me that you were a PCM student, right?
Yes.
So how did this paradigm shift happen? Like, Sida PCM engineering, so okay, uh, designing and left. So
Actually, I'm
was
a
it
big
something that you
flounderer.
pehle se planned, or was it like after decided after the engineering thing, like?
Actually, the thing is, like I said, I am a big flounderer. I am someone who doesn't stick on to one thing. I keep on changing things, and actually, the thing is, even like also from class sixth or seventh, I had this idea of becoming a teacher or professor or at a medical college or something because I love to teach. But eventually, then I started finding fashion to be something much more than just a hobby, and I really felt like I have to do something in it. I want to use my creativity. So by the eighth or ninth, everyone was like, "Why don't you go for architecture?" And I was like, "Okay, fine," because it involves the academic, the PCM kind of a thingy as well as the creativity. So I spent around 3 weeks around it and exploring what it actually, demands for and what I can really get to know. But eventually, it's something that I really didn't find good. And by the class of ninth, I came to know about NIFT and something which is called this. And I was exploring and I came to know about the department that I am in actually right now. That's Bachelor's of Fashion Technology. So it demands you to have PCM the degree in class 12, 11th and 12th. You can't go for this department if you're from any other stream. You have to be a PCM student. So yeah, eventually I carried it. The engineering wasn't even a part of the choice of the list ever. Actually.
Oh, all right. So what is there? Like, what does your course consist of? What is fashion technology? How do things go?
Pardon, I really didn't get it.
What does your course consist of? The bachelor's in fashion technology. What does it consist of?
Okay. Actually, the thing is that two departments, Bachelor's of Fashion Designing, which deal with the designing and the technical, like all those parts, the fabrics and whatsoever it is. Our department consists of how to market it, how to produce it, and whatsoever the costing and the production, everything. That's the department that Bachelor's of Fashion Technology deals with. So these are the departments, the brands, and all the official work and all the industrial work as well, but not the design. Designing is something which we don't do at all. We don't sketch, we don't do certain things, such things. It's the industrial and the official work that we actually.
So coming back to the preparation, I'd really like to know about how you prepared for your exam, because All India rank and five, it is a very great achievement. And even in the drop year, because drop year is a very pressure. It's a lot of pressure in the drop year. So kindly take us through your uh, preparation phase. Maybe there are people who are watching right now who may be preparing for some competitive exam, and many competitive exams are based
Hmm.
around the same kind of blueprint and how you should work. So please share your experience. How did you do it?
Actually, I didn't take a drop. I started preparing from the beginning of class 11. That's
Oh,
the thing. Yeah, I didn't take a drop. I was like, I left school. I joined like non-attending school because eventually I had to take PCM, and my mom and dad are some people like who really like from the initial phase they have been like, if you are opting for something, have respect for it and do at least some justice to it. So I had to score even good at PCM because it's something that I really feel like if I'm opting PCM, I shouldn't be like just pass in that or whatsoever it is. If I wouldn't have been good at it, then that's a whole different story. But I felt like that extra thing that was required. Being at school, I wouldn't have been capable of doing it, so I left school. I joined the non-attending school of the PCM and the physical and the English thing, and joined this coaching for the NIF. So yeah, this was the thing that I planned, and eventually distributing time that this much you have to give for PCM, because PCM is not at all easy. You have to concentrate
I
on
see.
it like day and night. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very difficult. It's not something very easy, and at the same time you have to study something which is totally opposite. But the requirement is PCM as well. It is something totally opposite. We study English a lot for it. We study fashion, GK. We study about everything fashion, reasoning, aptitude, whatsoever. Like so many different things you have to even study for the entrance also. So time management was something very important. I felt it was really exhausting, to be very honest. At the end of the day, it was very exhausting, but hopefully that all passed.
Okay. So, how did you schedule your day? Like, because even in a not attending school, it's very easy to get distracted, because you don't have school, you don't have that much responsibility of completing assignments, of exams on you. So, I've seen many people जो कि गुड़ गए क्योंकि उनका नॉन अटेंडिंग था,
Yeah.
उन्होंने टाइम वेस्ट किया क्योंकि उनसे हो नहीं रहा था, एंड एक बार एक थोड़ा सा टाइम चला गया तब तो और करने लगे क्योंकि यार अब तो हो ही का ही नहीं कुछ. So how
Mhm.
did how was scheduling your day, like tests and everything?
So starting, like I guess it's 11th ki starting when I like joined this non-attending school, I felt like okay fine, नहीं करना होगा ज़्यादा assignment, ये होगा वो होगा, चलो chill है, cause school है, it's not a big deal. Actually, from being an ICSC school, like there were like certain restrictions in the school, and when you come to like a non-attending, because non-attending school that I have. That I admitted to wasn't very strict with the curriculum or something. So I found it like okay, fine, चला जाएगा, हो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं चलता है not. But eventually, actually, it came down to the point that I had to do a lot of it in the at the last moment. I was like, okay, assignment इतना ज़्यादा like important नहीं देंगे चलेगा. But ऐसा नहीं था. But eventually, I had to. I realized it in the late months of class 11 कि okay fine, ये ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, तुम्हें बहुत मेहनत करनी है. You have to give your like day in and out to that completion of the assignment. But 12th के starting से I made this very clear. I made myself very clear with the fact that the time distribution is very, 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 very important. Else, neither I would be able to give justice to the PCM subject or wouldn't be even able to qualify in it. So the day it was like actually I am someone who I am a night owl. I am someone who studies in the night. So I feel like in the during the daytime, because there's a lot of hush around and I really want peace and I really want silence all around myself. I really don't want any disturbance. So I used to study for about like 4 5 hours for the NIFT examinations. I took out two or 3 hours for the PCM subject every day. So yeah, this was the only thing that I did, and I made sure that at least this much should be done. And after this, if I get some time, then I do the extra thing for the NIFT, because it also consists of current affairs and general knowledge. The course is like the syllabus is quite vast, and because there is no limit to general knowledge or current affairs, so no matter how much you do it, it's always less. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
because
tried to.
consistency is very important.
Yes.
I think because even if you're like giving 3 to 4 hours or 2 or 3 hours a day, I think you should do that for 2 years straight, because the thing is कि if you're not preparing for something like JE, तब it's not like कि you have to study a lot for PCM. Obviously पढ़ना होता है, but उतना नहीं होता. But even then, your concepts should be clear. You have to be consistent, because even in competitive exams अगर consistency नहीं आएगी, then कुछ नहीं होगा, क्योंकि because you have to complete your syllabus, then it is like 2 or 3 revisions, then mock tests, and even in after that, you gain some कि हाँ अब हो जाएगा. So even
Yeah.
that's what I think. um,
So,
so ये तो हुआ. जब रैंक आई तब कैसा, डिड यू थिंक कि मेरी रैंक आ जाएगी ऐसी, टॉप 5 टॉप?
नहीं, I didn't think like that. Initially, it was something अच्छा अजीब था. I was preparing for a mathematics examination for the boards. And it was, I guess, on 13th of March. Then I was sitting and I was solving some problems, and there was a call on my phone that why don't you check your. There's a friend of mine like who like called me and was like कि जाओ देखो आया है result आया क्या कर रहे हो बैठो बैठो. I got like very panicky at the time because something of course you have done
How
so
did your
much hard
exam
work.
go? Exam कैसा गया था?
My actually thing is it's very tricky because the last time when I gave exam it was I thought that I performed very well, but this time when I gave the exam I didn't feel that much of confidence, maybe because of the fact because last time I wasn't nervous, I wasn't under very much pressure because it was like a trial ball a kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I was very much under the pressure because I have been preparing for two long years, so I have to get at least a decent mark at it, so that I can get a good college. Eventually, the paper was like it did go well. It did go well, but not very well. But eventually, I guess the merit wasn't that high, yeah, as I was expecting it to be. But eventually, I I saw the marks, I saw the ranking, and I was like very good one, very 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 much above than just satisfied. Uh, so yeah, it was really. I couldn't believe it. I was refreshing it one at a time for the next 2 3 days. I was like, change तो नहीं हो गया, आपको नहीं change हो गया result. So I was like, so
मम्मी ने तो
eventually.
मस्त लड्डू वड्डू बांटती होंगे पूरे.
लड्डू क्या उन लोग को खुद ही नहीं डाइजेस्ट होता. एक्चुअली थिंग इज कि हमारे घर में कोई भी फैशन इंडस्ट्री से रिलेटेड नहीं है, तो दे रियली डोंट नो हाउ थिंग्स वर्क. तो दे आर लाइक कि हो गया अब क्या होगा अब क्या नहीं होगा. पक्का हो गया मतलब तुम्हारा बन गया करियर. लाइक नहीं अभी तो स्टार्ट है. लाइक सो या तो मिक्स्ड फीलिंग.
तो ऐसा भी होगा ना कि जो रिश्तेदार थोड़ा कर रहे होंगे कि क्या लड़का फैशन वैशन में जा रहा है, उसके बाद रैंक देख के लाइक अरे ये तो काफी अच्छा लड़का है.
नाउ दे आर लाइक कि अरे अच्छा कर रहा है. इनिशियली दे वर लाइक ये सब क्या कर रहा है. नाउ दे आर लाइक अच्छा कर रहा है, जो कर रहा है, जो मन का कर रहा है.
ये
विद टाइम वो पलटता रहता है, वो चलता है.
ये तो होता है. So there's this another part of the conversation that is that is especially for the guys watching this. I want to discuss men's fashion because people need why not give advice on that. So what do you think are the trends to look forward in 2020s, like not 2020 actually because सब घर ही में बैठे हैं, but
Yeah.
maybe for the next 2 3 years what trends do you think are picking up and what should we buy?
Actually, the thing is that I'm seeing this year is the fact that people nowadays they want to be really comfortable in their what they wear. The comfort is like a key word that they place it before buying anything. That I want to be very much comfortable, and which leads to the fact that a lot of couturiers are like thinking of making things which are fashionable and oversized basically, because when there's something which is a little oversized than your actual size, of course it gets comfortable. There's like a lot of space to move in that, and you don't get easily uncomfortable. So I feel like it's the track is going towards this path that people really want comfort as a very basic factor. Athleisure is something, a new term which was introduced, I guess, a year ago by the fashion industry. And yeah, that's the thing I feel like. And even when it comes to men, uh, in India specifically, they really don't even wear much colors. So coming down to fashion is something like a lot like far, but still, nevertheless, there are many people who really want to follow fashion, and I feel like yeah, oversized jackets and suits, and they're like duffel bags and baggy things actually are very much on high waist pants, flare pants, and then Chelsea boots. They're a lot in trend, I guess, and they'll be in the future. I hope so because they're really comfortable, and I feel like I have that thing. The comfort is the main thing nowadays that people seek for in fashion.
So with colors, like even like you said, like we Indians don't experiment with colors. So I'm kind of guilty of that too. Like in casual sense,
Yeah.
like in normal sense, I'm not wearing much other than black. I even like maybe not. So how do you dress well? Because the thing is कि like कि भाई cartoon जैसे ना दिखने लगे कि पता नहीं क्या 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 कलर्स पहन लिए, पिंक कलर का टी शर्ट पहन लिया, ग्रीन कलर की पैंट पहन ली, और तो वो थोड़ी दिक्कत होती है. तो हाउ डू वी color combination, and how do you dress well with colors? How do you play with them?
The thing is, I feel like if you're not very much into like experimenting with colors, you should follow this basic thing that if one part of your, like if your t-shirt is something very colorful, try to make the other parts of that outfit very basic. Initially, I'm talking about, because it's something you have to start slowly. You can't like jump into all the colors into like one at the outfit or something.
Because you have even have to rock them ना कि मतलब पहन लिया है तो
Yeah.
मतलब some
Yes,
people
you have to give,
like रणवीर सिंह टाइप के लोग हैं, उनको पता है वो कार्टून जैसे दिख रहे हैं, बट वो अच्छे दिख रहे हैं तब भी क्योंकि उन्होंने डेलिबरेटली किया है वो चीज, एंड they're like pulling it off really nicely. Yeah, continue.
So yeah, I guess like these certain things, and having a little bit knowledge of the combination, color combination is very necessary. I feel like, because like you said, if you're wearing pink or something, try to match with the color who is like which is very subtle at the same time and gives like try to lessen the the brightness of the color whatsoever and have it a like no just balance or ease out the whole of the thing. Initially, I'm talking about. But once you are into this thing that you don't care about the colors, then so there's a lot of fun. Then the experimenting and everything happens actually. So
Yeah.
initially, as of men, people, the men in India, I feel like they should like wear colors because a lot of colors are there apart from just black. Like people should experiment. Now it's not experimenting, but go try something new which they haven't. Something very fun, I guess.
So let me ask you. So, what are the stereotypical trends to look forward to? For example, what should let's say I want to experiment because I'm a lot into fashion. The classic. I'm more or less on the classic side of things.
Classic.
I really like to wear suits and kurtas, that kind of stuff.
Oh.
I'm very passionate about that. But let's say I want to go for a stereotypical thing. What should I go for?
So in like right now, I feel like stereotypical trends are like I think so. The high waist pants and the trousers are very much like very. I even tried it one of my photo shoots, and I feel like they're really good. Like people should try it. Of course, many won't obviously, but at least one should just try it. Try it at least once because it's something that I also didn't think initially would look good on me, but when I tried it and I really found it really good. So I feel like this is one of the things. And what else? I feel like the bags that people like the shoulder bags or something, they are very much trendy nowadays. I have seen like people the pouch bags that they wear that they carry along with themselves because it adds an extra X factor which you say to the whole outfit and gives a little bit of a different kind of an vibe to it. So I feel like these certain things and yeah, colors, a lot of colors actually is very much needed, I guess, because it's too banal now. Wearing just black or just white or just the basic, the browns and the navy blues and something. It's like people should come out of it and wear something different.
Noted. Noted. So
Yeah.
let me ask you a burning question. So since you're very good at fashion, you must garner a lot of female attention. So how do other guys do that? How do you charm with your clothes? How do you carry it?
Okay, so charming with the clothes is something that I really actually the thing is girls around are like they I guess they are also bored looking at the guys wearing something very basic and they also want something more than that. I think so like that, but I don't know whether it's true or not. I never asked someone, but it's just that I feel like I don't know. I really don't know. That's actually this thought has never been into my mind while wearing something that whether that girl will, get attracted to me or will get charmed by me or suppose.
Yeah, but you may have noticed some patterns like when I wore this, you may have noticed patterns like when I wore this, there were more people, or basically
I
more
feel
people
like
coming.
yes, I feel like when I experiment, I really don't grab that kind of attention. I seriously think so because experimenting also is for them as well. Seeing some guy in an experimental like clothing is something different for them as well, and they also take time to get it registered, and then they make an opinion out of it. But when I wear something which is uh, classic, decent, at the same time having the right combination and the right pattern, is something that really attracts them. It's not just the colors or something. I feel uh, like the women and like the girls around me, I feel like that they seek for decency and classic things, and like even in like men's style,
Okay.
I guess.
So for the ending notes for this podcast, thank you for being here. I really enjoyed this
Thank you
conversation.
for having me.
Did you enjoy? Like, how was it? How was this conversation?
Yeah, yeah, thank you for having me. So it was something real. This is the first kind of a podcast that I shot like ever. Of course, it is. So I really enjoyed it. It was something like I. This was like a friendly conversation more than like just an interview or something, a boring kind of a thing. So I really enjoyed shooting it, and thank you for having me. And I hope this podcast, at least does some like some change to people whosoever they are like seeing it or get to see it. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So three. Let me ask you three tips for preparing for the NEFT exam to just end it. Someone you
Okay,
know.
the three tips. I guess you have to be very consistent with the thing. You have to be very much focused with the syllabus. You Because certain things which seem like they are a part of syllabus, but they're not. You should be very much clear about the syllabus. Initially, I was also like floundering here and there and not concentrating on the right path. But eventually, I got realized. I feel like that's a huge part of time that I not a very huge, but like a kind of a 1 or 2 month or I wasted into it. So I guess you should be very clear with the syllabus or the thing. And third, if you have interest, then only do it. It's something you should have the utmost interest, because yeah, the right now what I'm studying is just fashion, 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 everything around it. And if you really have interest and if you think that you can make a life out of it, then only do it. So these three things I feel like are the
So
most
on these notes, we'll end the podcast, and I'll link all the handles down below. Do follow both of us, and we'll see you in the next one.